Okay, what's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Now, today we're going to be talking about more of a video catered towards newer players, because I know that with this celebration with Roger and Oden, the World Cruise celebration, honestly been one of the better celebrations we've seen in a very long time, and it's brought in a lot of new players, a huge influx of new players, because obviously the characters that they released with Roger and Oden are extremely hyped characters, and I'm really happy that they're finally here. They're amazing units, and I mean, it goes to show, like, and everyone knows at this point, Roger is the character that you should be re-rolling for, so I'm just going to get that out of the way. But I have created an infographic for you guys, kind of giving a lot of you players who potentially don't know about some of the best characters in the game. I mean, sure, some of you guys may have watched my tier list videos, and you can kind of determine from there which are the characters that you should be potentially going for outside of Roger, because obviously, once you get Roger, that's cool and all, but you can't beat the game with only Legend Roger. You do need a lot of other supporting cast characters, and there are definitely some really good ones on this banner. So first of which, we have these first two infographics that was created by the community. Unfortunately, I don't know who created these graphics. It might have been Anlord, but these are the characters that are actually pullable on each of the banners. So this is Gold Roger's banner, and then we have the Oden banner. Now I have kind of segregated each of the characters on each of these banners into a couple of different categories as to like the number one characters you want to get. Then there's like really strong units, and then there's really useful characters that are not going to help you clear a ton of content, but are just overall amazing units to have that kind of just help you get to get more items or to rank up your account faster. It's just useful characters, and we'll get into that, right? So let's go ahead and do it. This is the infographic that I've come up with. So we've got a few different categories, as I said. We've got the priority characters here on the left, which is like the number one characters you want to reroll for. You want to make sure that you have characters of this category on your account before you start playing the game, because it makes it a lot easier for you. Then you've got other powerful characters. So potentially if you get like Roger, one of these characters, and then some of these characters here, that would be a very, very good account. And then you've got helpful characters, which I'll touch up on towards the end of the video. But first of which, the priority characters, everyone knows, you know, also something to note as well is that the characters are highlighted with certain colors. So you see that there's red and there's yellow. So if they're on yellow, it means that you can pull them on Roger's banner. And if they're highlighted with red, you can pull them on Oden's banner. So here we've got Roger, and as I said here, non-negotiable, you have to get Roger. If you want to start this game off right, start off with Legend Roger, because he makes your life a whole lot easier. Full-on Rainbow Captain, he's his crew zone attack booster, and then if you're able to proc his super type, which you can, if you get Shanks' crew as well alongside this Roger, you're set. Like, those two together are amazing, because by having Shanks on your crew, it enables you to launch the super type special of Roger, which is amazing, right? So that's perfect to have. I mean, obviously, if you get the new rare recruit Rayleigh or the new rare recruit Crocus, or if you pull Oden as well, I mean, those characters all together with Roger is just amazing, right? But, you know, Roger and, you know, there's a bunch of other characters outside of Roger that are still very, very good. Like V3 Law, who I think is going to see a lot of play still, works very well under Roger. So if you get the combination of Law and Roger together, that's an amazing account. You should stick with that. Then you got Blackbeard. Now, Blackbeard doesn't really work well with the two new characters in Oden and Roger. But still, by himself, I think Blackbeard is a phenomenal character to have on your account, because you can get to a point where he just outputs like millions and millions of damage just by himself, and you can run a lot of supporter characters that surround him, so that's really cool. Then you got Luffy Snake Man, another super type character. Really easy to fulfill his super type special, which gives you an attack boost. His special is a full board orb manipulation plus an orb boost, so that's great, of course. So you know, if you get this Snake Man as well, works very well under Roger, because this guy is a rainbow orb booster, Roger's a rainbow attack booster. They work perfectly together. Now I've got Kaido here as well. Now Kaido, for those of you who are new to the game and don't understand what Kaido does, he is pretty special, because he's like one of the only characters in the game that can kind of just do what he does. And essentially what he does, at the end of every turn, he just does a huge wave clear of damage. He does 400 times his attack at the end of each turn. Of course, there are certain debuffs and effects where the enemy can remove that damage from you, but in very easy content, this character alone is going to blast through it by himself. And if you are new to the game and you want to start farming up some old free-to-play characters that are kind of nice to have on your account, having Kaido on your account makes that a lot easier. Also, if you want to get through the story mode, Kaido makes it much quicker as well. Even though, you know, with recent updates, the story mode is now very easy, and you can pretty much use whatever you want to clear the story mode. If you have Kaido, it just makes it faster and easier, so it does make things a lot easier by having him. Kaido can still clear some of the hardest content in the game, but you'd want to probably use Roger for characters like that. But still, you know, Kaido is no slouch. He's still a pretty awesome character to have. And as we mentioned, Odin, if you get the combination of Odin and Roger together on a reroll, dude, like, you should definitely keep that account. That's a really good account. And then the final character here is Douglas Bullet. Douglas Bullet is another really unique character in this game, similar to Kaido in the fact that, like, he's like the only character that does what he does to his scale. Bullet is the only character in the game that hits super effective damage. Now, there is a character that's coming later on that will also have that effect, but only when they switch into the captain position in the, halfway through the battle. Whereas Bullet, as the captain all the time, he is super effective against all types, and he has a really powerful special that it does a lot of wave clear damage depending on how much damage he does, and because he does rainbow damage, he does a lot of damage, and color affinity works perfectly with him. For those new players that don't know what color affinity is, it is boost type effects. Any special that's relating to that, Bullet will always work under that, so long as it's boosting the type effects of a strength character or a driven character or a fighter character or whatever. Bullet can use that, so lots of really good things there. I think if you have Roger plus at least one of these other characters, that's a great account that you should be sticking with. Now, moving on to the other powerful characters, like, these are characters that are still really good and are going to help you clear a lot of content, but they're not on the same scale, in my opinion, to the characters that are in the priority list. So Mihawk and Perona, you can use them as a captain if you want, but they see a lot of usage as a sub because they are essentially a self-proccing 2x conditional booster. They're really strong. They got a great switch effect as well when they switch between Mihawk and Perona, with giving you healing mechanics and applying a debuff to the enemy. You got Legend Pudding, who again is another really unique character that applies the effect to copy a buff that you've got active on your team and then activate it later on with really good ore manipulation, great sailor effects too. That actually worked kind of well with Roger, because with Roger's special, you can use his special to give you the attack boost, and then you can use Pudding to copy the attack boost and then launch the 3x attack boost again later on. So that's really cool. Really cool stuff you can do with Pudding. Quick Whitebeard is still a relatively good unit. He's a striker and a powerhouse centric unit. His special is an attack boost as well, damage reduction, despair removal, and then eventually when you 6+ him, he does get even better as well. Then you got Stampede Luffy, who actually can still be used as a captain. If I mean, you wouldn't be doing it, but if you had the ability to use Stampede Luffy, you can use the combination of Stampede Luffy as a friend and then like Roger as your captain or whatever. I mean, you wouldn't be doing that, but I'm just saying, like, Stampede Luffy can still be used as a captain because his captain effect has a really unique effect where he resists 10 turns of despair and 10 turns of paralysis. So if there's any heavy paralysis in a piece of content, you can run a friend captain Stampede Luffy, or if you want to use him as a sub, he's still a relatively good sub unit too because he gives himself a huge boost. Sanji Judge are one of my favorite units in the game. They are, again, a really powerhouse centric unit. Their special is a 2x attack and orb boost to powerhouse, and they remove 5 turns of paralysis when they launch their special too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's paralysis. Yeah, it is. And then they got a really powerful and unique switch effect too. Legend Carrot is another one of those really unique units that, like, there are a couple of characters in the game that can do what she does, but she is one of the best at it, where, you know, for 12 turns at the start of the fight, from 12 turns from the start of the fight, she goes through all defensive effects. So any barriers or rainbow shield, she bypasses it. Threshold damage reduction, she bypasses it as a captain. So all your characters just bypass defensive effects, which means you don't have to bring certain utility units in certain pieces of content. Her special's an orb boost for her types that she boosts as well, or for her classes that she boosts. So she's a really good unit, but she's not very good in high difficulty content, but in really easy content, yeah, she's really good for. Legend Garp, he's a character that is seen somewhat weak nowadays, but now that he has his super evolution, he is a lot better. He has a really powerful special of utility and providing a chain lock, which can give your team a pretty good sizable damage output increase, so that's nice. V2 Akainu is another really good unit for int teams, plus he's similar to Kaido in a way where, you know, if you hit all of your perfects, you just do a lot of end of turn damage when you use him as a captain, but if you're going to be having Roger on your account, you're going to be using him as the captain most of the time, at least in early game anyway, unless if you have Kaido, of course. But, you know, I still wanted to put Akainu on the list because he is still relatively decent if you just want to run an int team, you know, if you want to shake things up a little bit. And then V3 Akainu is also really good. He is a strength, dex, and quick boosting unit. Really solid captain effect and a really solid special. He's his crew's own attack booster as well. He removes barriers. He's a conditional booster. Like, he does a lot of really cool things. So this Akainu is still really solid. V3 Katakuri is similar to Blackbeard in the fact that he's an int super type character, and again, this is like more if you want to be building an int team. Like if you get an account with like Roger, Blackbeard, and Katakuri, I don't know how you would do that, but if you did, that would actually be not a terrible account to run with, I would say. But definitely you'd be wanting to get a majority of these units rather than, you know, these units. But these units do help you out. Sober Mask. Now, I have to say, if you get an account with Odin plus Sober Mask, and you also get like Roger as well, that is a god tier account, because this Sober Mask is a phenomenal sub for Odin, because this Sober Mask has a special which gives you a full board of tandem slots, and if you're running Odin as the captain, tandem slots become Wano slots, so you just get full Wano slots, and he's an attack booster. Odin is an orb booster, so those two together work really, really well. So that's a combination that you could really try and use if you do have those two units. Vivi Rebecca, one of the most important subs in the game. They help you clear so much high difficulty content. Their special ability is color affinity boost, but they have a really unique effect. They remove all turns of blue and rainbow shield buffs on the enemy. And they got a powerful switch effect that gives you a chain lock, they give you healing, lots of things to love here. And then Sabo and Koala, they're a character that really doesn't see that much play now, but they're also another really good unit to use in high difficulty content. They're an attack booster for two separate classes in the game, Cerebral and Free Spirit, which are really good. A lot of the good characters in the game are Cerebral or Free Spirit, and they have a unique effect with their special that removes any non-beneficial orb enabling effect. So again, a really unique effect that only this character has, and the switch effect gives you a color affinity boost, which is pretty good. So these are other characters that are like not like the top tier ones that you'd want to reroll for, but if you do get them, like, be happy that you get them, because they're really, really nice to have. Now the final ones I want to talk about, these are the helpful characters here on the right hand side. So we've got Chopper. Now Chopper, if you guys don't know, I mean, honestly, you could probably put Chopper in the other powerful characters tier, because he has a special ability that removes a lot of debuffs on your crew, and he heals as well. So he's a really nice unit to have, but his captain effect, it duplicates any piece of cotton candy that you drop in a run. So he's the only character that does that. So if you get a lot of cotton candy, you can just run Chopper, he dupes it all. It's really, really nice, especially if you're the type of player that tries to max out all your characters without candy. So especially if you're new to the game, you're not going to have a lot of cotton candy lying around, and if you do get Chopper and you find a piece of content where you can drop a lot of candy, you want to use Chopper for it. Buggy, I'm not the biggest fan of Buggy overall, but you can't discount some of the stuff that he's able to do. What Buggy does, he's got a really weak captain effect, but if you use him as a captain and you clear a piece of content, he guarantees you to duplicate a drop at the end of the run. So if you run double Buggy, you will get 2 additional drops of anything that you dropped throughout that adventure. So that's pretty nice to have. In really easy content, you can get a lot of drops from that. Then you've got Komurosaki, which again, this is another character that you could honestly put in the other powerful characters tier, but her captain effect is a quick and int boosting captain. It's a flat 4 times boost. It's got damage reduction. Like, it's a good captain, but she also gives you 2 times berries. So if you have double Komurosaki, you get a lot of additional berries at the end of the run. And again, if you are starting your account off, you're not going to have a lot of berries lying around. There are other ways to get them, like running Turtle Island and selling your turtles and stuff. But I'm just saying that's there. Now, the most important one, I think, in my opinion here, is Jack. Especially if you're starting a new account, having Legend Jack makes a huge difference. If you guys don't know what he does, he will give you 2 times EXP at the end of the run. So if you're running double Jack, that's 4 times EXP. And especially if you get the host ship from the unlockable quests, or if there is a special event going on where there's a special ship that gives you 3 times EXP, it's pretty awesome. So, you know, Legend Jack, I think, is the best of the helpful characters here. I mean, technically, if you're starting a brand new account, I think Buggy in the long run probably is going to be better for you. But having Jack to just increase your level so quickly, especially in the early levels, man, it's going to make a huge difference. So there you go. Now, like, all I'm saying across the board here is that, you know, you want to be re-rolling for Roger. It makes a big difference having him. And then I would say at least get 1 other character in this tier. If you get multiples, that's awesome. Keep it. But, you know, if you get 1 Roger and then you get, like, 1 of these characters and then, like, maybe 1 or 2 of these units, that'd be cool as well. Or if you get 1 of these units, especially Jack, it does make a pretty big difference. But the thing is, it comes down to how many gems you get. Now, currently, as I'm recording this video, we have not gotten the 50 free gems, and I think an additional 20 gems for clearing all of the social media campaign. I don't think they're out yet, so that's an additional 70, and I did check with a reroll account that the amount of gems that you get by just logging in, even without that, is 120 something. So if you add 70, it's 190 something, which means you can get, you know, 4 multis, you know, including the 1 gem multi, done on a banner, on a reroll. As I'm recording this video on, it's now the 10th of January. So you've got, you know, another 15 days of this video going live of the banner of Roger and Odin to be here. So you've got, you know, plenty of time to get a really good reroll going. Lots of gems given out for free during this event. So rerolls are actually going to be pretty decent. This is what I would suggest for you guys in terms of getting a new account and starting off fresh with One Piece Treasure Cruise. So that is going to wrap up this video today. I really hope you guys learned something, especially if you're a newer player to this game, and I really hope you enjoy yourselves playing One Piece Treasure Cruise. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.